Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Lauren Schwartz, also known as Bamboo. I am here to do chapter 1 of my book, Western Translation of Eastern Medicine, for you. We're just gonna get right into it, and then please comment, ask questions, email me, contact me through any of the socials, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want. I'm on all of them. And I would love to make more videos answering questions you have about acupuncture, Eastern medicine, the difference between holistic medicine and Western medicine. Western medicine is also called allopathic medicine. So the main difference in the fact of these two medicines is that holistic medicine, Eastern, is holistic. It looks at the whole picture of the situation in terms of the patient as one whole being, and then investigates into finding the root cause of why symptoms are arising within that person. Why they're experiencing these symptoms is coming from a root. We're not going to treat just a symptom. We're going to look at the whole picture and investigate what is the root cause of the symptoms or symptom that are showing up, and then we treat the root. We do not treat the branches, we treat the root always. That's why it's called holistic. We take into account the entire picture. Western medicine is called allopathic medicine. Allopathic means that they treat branches. They treat symptoms that are being experienced by the patient. They have no concern on what the root core issue or cause is of the symptoms being experienced. All they do is treat branches all day. Everything about Western medicine is allopathic. They treat branches. Holistic treats the root. Western treats branches. Holistic, allopathic. Holistic, allopathic. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, ask questions. I would love to go into it further, but that's just the basics of what the two differences of medicine are. And really, that's the only medicine that exists. It's either treat the root or treat the branch. Nothing else matters. Yes, there's different modalities within the umbrella of medicine and how to treat disease, how to prevent disease. That's another one with Western medicine. They're just concerned with branches. So it's health to the Western medical industry, really, it's an industry, is about, let's not talk about health until something shows up. And then when that something shows up, we have a product for you that we will sell to you made of chemicals that will mask or treat that branch that you're experiencing for a certain amount of time, but it's only temporary because we're never concerned with the root. And the root really has to do with what you're doing on a daily basis. What are your habits all the time that then create this canvas of who you are and what state of health you're in. Eastern holistic medicine really concerns about daily practices within your mind, body, and spirit. Every day, what are you doing? What are you thinking? What is your mindset? What is your thought process? How are you maintaining your body? And it is preventative because it is concerned with the core, the root of you, the root of how you go about your daily life. What are you doing every day? What are you thinking every day? What kind of faith or lack of faith do you have or not have in terms of your outlook on the world, in terms of your outlook on yourself? And how are you preventing the branches from showing up? How are you preventing symptoms by choosing healthy daily habits? That can be a whole nother video. I'm going to write that down and make a video about that. But holistic, allopathic, Eastern, Western. That's it. There are other modalities that come underneath this umbrella, like orthopedic, pediatric, naturopathic, the allergy testing. Naturopathic is, in my opinion, a mix of allopathic and holistic remedies. It's a mix of both. That naturopathic degree, they're studying a little bit of what we learn in Eastern medicine education, and then they're also learning a little bit of Western medical modalities, which we in California, our degree, because once we get licensed, we have the authority to be a primary care physician. So our entire education is more than just Eastern. We're learning treatment and diagnosis of disease 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are classes we take. We take pharmacology, we take nutrition, and then we take all of the classes that have to pertain to Eastern medicine in terms of the philosophy, which I'm going to get into about Tao, and then yin and yang, and then the 5-element theory, and then all of the channels that connect to the organs, that connect to the outside of the body, and then the philosophy theory, but also I believe truth of the fact that we are energetic beings. This is truth, right? Like, this is truth. It's just, again, in different vocabulary, in different terms in the Western world. So we study everything that has to do with Western medicine. We need to know about lab testing, everything that goes into that, how to lab test. We learn about all of the prescription medication that may also be contraindicated in the herbal remedies that we treat, because again, pharmacology and prescription medication is just synthetically made substances that are basically mimicking something that already exists in nature. That's why herbology and herbs and natural remedies, they come from nature, they already exist. And then there's, alkaloids, phytochemicals, just herbs that have antioxidant properties that work within certain systems, both energetically and physically, some for the liver, some for the brain, some for the heart. These are herbs that we use to help treat branches, but actually also are more pertaining to the root, to the constitution of that patient. That's a whole other thing we can get into. Herbology is a whole beast in and of itself. It's amazing. But yeah, so again, I got a little bit away with myself, but that's the difference between the two. Holistic, allopathic, there are different modalities under both. Like as an acupuncturist, I offer Japanese meridian therapy, which is a small little sector under classical Chinese medicine. There's also traditional Chinese medicine, TCM versus CCM. And again, that just has to go into reform that happened in the 1960s in China. They took this folk medicine that had been practiced and taught down through mentors and families throughout, thousands of years, this classical Chinese medicine, holistic medicine, truly based on treating the root. And then they kind of reformed the world politically, and then they created this medicine called TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, which is then basically, in basic terms, a westernized form of Eastern medicine. So what they did was they created protocols both for herbology prescriptions and protocols for acupuncture point protocols for branch symptoms. So like, say for a cough in TCM, they have protocols for just a cough, just the branch symptom that shows up. They take no account into what type of patient, what type of person that is individualistically, which is how you treat a root. Even though you see a cough in a patient, you're going to treat it a billion different ways, because it's going to be a different treatment from one person to the next, because each person is different. And so the way in which that cough is arising in terms of where it's coming from is going to be treated a little differently. But with TCM, they have a protocol. So then you'll do lung 3, large intestine 11, and REN 12, and stomach 36 for a cough. And that's the protocol, no matter what the patient, who cares. And that's a Western way of looking at things. That's a Western way of treating. You treat the branch and not the root, meaning it's not a holistic treatment whatsoever. It's Western, it's allopathic. So TCM is a way that they kind of allopathicized holistic medicine. And again, there's so much to go into from there, but let's go into chapter 1 of Western translation of Eastern medicine, yin and yang. Yin and yang are two opposing but interconnected forces that make up a whole. Yin and yang are not mutually exclusive, and everything contains both, in a constant and continuous vibrational, self-perpetuating cycle of balance. All things exist as inseparable and contradictory opposites. Positive and negative, black and white, dark and light, up and down, day and night, male and female, right and wrong, good and bad, old and young. Without one, we do not have the other. The pair of equal opposites both attract and complement each other. In biology, we have the nucleus made of protons and electrons and neutrons, but for the sake of yin and yang, we're going to talk about protons and electrons. The proton emits positive charge, electron negative charge. The electrical charge the protons and electrons emit are the same size but opposite. Opposite charges attract, creating one atom. Do you see how it goes back and forth between yin and yang, which is the part of the Tao nucleus, yin and yang being proton, electron? Yin and yang create the Tao. Can you see the comparison? Western translation of Eastern medicine. Yin is cool, dark, passive, negative, night, receptive, soft, still, earth, moon, and this list could go on. These are just a few examples to get you into what side of the coin yin represents. Yin is bottom, yang is top. Yin is the fluid, substance, water, heavier material. Yang is energy, movement, heat, electrical force that moves the substances along their path. Yin is the blood in the vessels. Yang is the force that pushes the blood into circulation. Yin is hair. Yang is the force that grows the hair out of the follicles. Yin is female. Yang is male. Yang is hot, bright, light, intrusive, assertive, electric, positive, day, activity, action, effector, abrasive, hardness, noise, disturbance, the sun. Yang is out, yin is in. Now, things can get tricky when you start to name opposing but collaborating forces. Like cat and dog, neither one is yin or yang when comparing the two. They are not opposites. The cat could be yin and the dog could be yang, and vice versa, depending on their nature and how they specifically interact with each other. So watch out for this confusion. When looking to name which counterpart of something is yin or yang, observe the nature of it, how it relates to its opposite, what its function is within the whole system, before deciding on which it is in terms of yin and yang. Do not be impulsive in naming. Understand the harmony of the whole unit before determining a name for it. This is thinking holistically, without judgment, with an inquiring and curious mind. Looking for balance, not separateness. Then you can see the whole and its smaller parts within that whole. If you look too closely, you can confuse the nature of a whole system. Zoom out before zooming in. Then zoom out again. A female and a male both have yin and yang within them in many different ways. Same with a cat and a dog. Same with a table and a chair. Same with day and night. But it is when you're looking at them in comparison, you can see which one represents yin or yang, depending on their interaction with each other. When observing one thing on its own, you can break it apart into its yin and yang aspects. But you can't just call one thing without something to connect it to or compare it to, just as yin or just as yang by itself alone. Light just alone cannot be defined. You have to understand darkness to be able to call light what it is. Day without night is not what we define as day. It wouldn't be definable. Does this make sense? Good without bad would not be good. How would we define good if we didn't have bad to counter-define it? It would just be. It wouldn't have the name good if it wasn't opposed by bad. Confusing, I know, but graspable. Take hold. For example, an eye. In relation to the brain and the nervous system, I would see the eye as the yin, and the brain and the nervous system, central nervous system, as the yang. But when zoomed in, and now just comparing the eye to itself and its own parts, the mucosa that lubricates the eye could be the yin. And the functioning of the eye's movements coming from the brain and the central nervous system is the yang. The yin aspect of a unit observed is the substance and more concrete material that is moved and manipulated by its yang counterpart. Its yang, more dominant counterpart. Yin is water, and yang is the force that creates the tides. Yin is moon, and yang is sun. Yin is night, yang is day. Yin is below, and yang is above. Yin is the passive electron or neutron. Yang is the active proton. You could also, if you're thinking about exactly just one cell and its nucleus and the electron and proton being positive and negative, then the proton would be the positive. The proton would be the yang and the electron would be the yin, or vice versa. I guess it just depends on how you're looking at which one is positive and which one is negative. You have to be talking about, then I would say, the charge of salt, NaCl, and the fact that it has a negative charge, so that's the more dominant charge. So then I would call the electron part of that cell the yang, and then the proton part yin. But again, let's just not go into that. Yin and yang together represent the dualistic perspective of our existence. Dualism. Everything happens in pairs. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. An object will not change its motion unless a force acts on it. The force that creates change on an object is equal to its mass times its acceleration. When two objects interact, they apply forces to each other of equal magnitude and opposite direction. These are Newton's first 3 laws of motion, which describe perfectly the dualistic relationship of yin and yang. Western translation of Eastern medicine.